we are very happy to present this workshop on self-love, a reality check by self, and the resource person for the day is Dr. Sindhuja Avasthi Mishra. As we move on, first, I would like to tell you about self. What is self? Self-love, yes, of course, we'll talk about it. So self stands for SIMA's Entrepreneurial Ladies Forum. It is a forum that is created by SIMA. What is SIMA? SIMA is a Small and Medium Industries Manufacturers Association. They help the MSME sector to win their battle with any problem that they are facing. And the women wing, that is self, that is being headed by our chairperson, Dr. Sindhuja Avasthi Mishra. Here we try to support women entrepreneurs to establish, enhance, and scale up their entrepreneurial ventures. Now, formally, I would like to welcome our chief guest, and it's a big honor for me to introduce and invite and thank you for accepting our invitation, ma'am. So we have the honor of having Dr. V. Prakash, Dr. Vinita Prakash, Principal Isabella Thorbin College. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for taking out time for us. Ma'am has spent around 30 years in teaching undergraduates and graduate college students. And she is a NET qualified, JRF qualified, and a PhD holder from the University of Lucknow. Ma'am has been principal of Isabella Thorbin College, one of the most prestigious colleges of Lucknow, since last many years, since 2013. She's been the principal. She has a good number of publications to her credit. Dr. Prakash is a voracious reader, excellent orator, and an exceptional leader. And we are thrilled to have you today here, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming here. Now, I would like to introduce my co-host and our resource person. So my co-host for the day is Mrs. Shalini Chaudhary. I would request her to introduce herself.
Hello, everybody. Good evening, all of you. Hello, ma'am. Good evening. Respect to all my guests and chief guest. As an IT alumni, I feel very proud to introduce myself as an ex-IITian. And I'm Shalini Chaudhary. I've been working in the field of education for past 15 years. And as an alumni of IT College and Lucknow University, I am also a successful career mentor and has been guiding my students with their career queries. And I'm also running an activity-based learning center for privileged and underprivileged children in Lucknow itself. And I feel very happy to join SELF, and I'm really immensely happy that my principal has been joining along with my teachers. So a great thankful to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shani. Now I would like to introduce our resource person, Dr. Sindhuja Mishra Avasthi. She is a psychologist, PhD in psychologist. She has more than 2 decades of experience into career counseling, psychological counseling, and she's associated with Lucknow University as guest faculty right now. And she has coached and mentored many students and many kids till now. Now I would request Dr. Sindhuja Mishra to please tell her about herself a little more.
Thank you so much, Mahima, for introducing me to the platform. As Mahima already said, born, brought up, I hail from Lucknow itself, and with over 20 years of experience in the field of academics and corporate. I have been with different positions, from professor to head corporate relations to manager, potential development, training, placement, counseling. These all have been the area I have been exploring, and I'm still I still find that I'm still learning. I'm a certified trainer from Indian Society of Training and Development. Also, I'm a career counselor, certified career counselor from University of California and Los Angeles. Presently, I'm associated with Lucknow University and NIFT Raebareli as a guest faculty, and have been into training for many corporates, more than almost 50 corporates I have worked with. I have given a training in. So with the thought that this is a month of love, and being a psychologist, we understand the aspect of loving our own self. We thought, why not to make people aware as what this self-love is and how to go about it. So when it comes to self-love, can we start, or we need to wait for somebody, Mahima?
I think we should start. We've got a couple of people. Yeah.
All right. So people who are here, you might have said that, yeah, we all love ourselves. Very openly, we say that we love ourselves. But we have thoughts like, if we say that we love ourselves and we promote ourselves, typically people will be taking it as being selfish. Right, the new term, which is a very basic word these days, is narcissism. You are narcissist. You are more involved with yourself, and you talk about yourself, your own greed, your own need. So we find it. Is it okay to openly accept that we love ourselves? So it's a reality check. Yeah, Mahima.
On this, we would request our chairperson to share few words about self-love. Before we take the session ahead, we would request Vinita Prakash ma'am, Principal IT College, to share a few words on self-love.
Okay. Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to the forum. Thanks for accepting our invitation, ma'am.
No, thank you for inviting me. And I want to place on record my grateful thanks to Young Managers Forum and the Lucknow Management Association for putting up this program and for inviting me to speak on self-love and also to participate and learn from you. Because life is a learning process and we learn so much all the time. And I'm so happy that the two alumni of our college are here on this platform, Mahima and Shalini. And I'm so happy to see that both of you are doing so well. You are doing our college proud, and I'm so proud of the work that you are doing. And particularly this topic on self-love, it's a wonderful thing to celebrate love in the month of love. Because on 14th February, we just celebrated love in the form of Valentine's Day. And again, you are talking about self-love, this open session. And I'm sure that it's going to bring up a whole lot of aspects of what self-love is all about. And like you said, Dr. Sindhuja, that we all say we love ourselves. But when we go deeper into it, we discover that we don't actually love ourselves as we should. Yeah. So loving yourself or self-love is so very important to a person's growth and to a person's well-being. You know, I personally think that the prerequisite to loving yourself is accepting yourself first. Because so many times we do not accept ourselves as we are. We want to be someone else. We want to be somewhere else. We want to be doing something other than what we are doing. So in other words, we are not happy with ourselves, with what we are at the present. So I think if we learn to accept ourselves first, and when we look at ourselves in the mirror, do we like the image that is there? Do we like our personality, or are we always comparing ourselves with others? And because of that, most of the time we see flaws in ourselves. But I want to say, when it comes to self-love, I want to say that we should remember that we are a unique creation of God. There is no one else like us. So that makes us so special. And that would encourage us to accept ourselves. And that one fact should make us celebrate ourselves. And when we celebrate ourselves, the fact that we are different from anybody else on this universe. If you no two people's DNA is the same. We are absolutely different, and we are a unique creation of God. So if we learn to accept who we are, we will learn to love ourselves also. The second thing that I want to emphasize here is knowing ourselves. It is so very important to have a correct impression or correct appreciation of ourselves before we can know ourselves. We should neither overestimate ourselves nor underestimate ourselves. We should have a correct estimation of ourselves so that we can work on our strengths as well as our weaknesses. And this helps us to become a better version of ourselves. The outcome or the result of self-love should be to become a better version of yourself, not to become like some, become a better version of yourself. And the third and the last thing that I want to emphasize is do not be afraid to express yourself. When you love yourself, when you know yourself, when you accept yourself, you should not be afraid to express yourself, because expression is a sign of growth. Your growth will depend upon expression, whether it is in the spoken form, written form, or your body language, asking questions, because only when you ask questions do you get the answers. And then you will be able to, or then we will be able to love ourselves. If we accept ourselves, if we know ourselves, if we are able to express our opinions and our thoughts, we will be able to love ourselves. And loving ourselves also means taking care of our body, soul, and mind. And all three of these together, which make our personality, they need refreshing from time to time. Our body needs to be refreshed, our mind needs to be refreshed, and our soul needs to be refreshed. That is why I think that having a workshop like this is a very good idea. Because as women particularly, we become our own last priority. As wives, as mothers, as sisters, or even as teachers, we look after so many things. You ask any woman and she is multitasking all the time. But when it comes to her, she becomes her own last priority, whether it is going to the doctor or getting medical tests done. Even if it comes to pursuing hobbies, it becomes a last priority. But when we gather on platforms like this, and Dr. Sindhuja Mishra and Mahima, who are trained trainers, so to say, they help us to discover the inner potential that we have, and also to have a conversation with each other. The whole idea of having an open session is to start conversations on these topics. And it is only now that we have begun to talk about these things, to find out from each other, to express ourselves, that it helps us, it refreshes us, and it also is a reality check to see whether we actually know ourselves, whether we are happy with ourselves, comfortable with our body, no matter how we look, no matter what we are doing. Are we comfortable with ourselves? Do we accept ourselves? There is a beautiful quotation in the Bible which I really like. Jesus said, "Love the Lord your God and love others as you love yourself." So it makes a beautiful triangle of the relationship of the self with God, with self, and with others. Your soul is refreshed, your inner self is refreshed, your mind and body, and you in turn refresh others. So with that, I would like to end whatever I have to say. In fact, I am looking forward to learning from you. And I think this is a wonderful platform where you have Dr. Sindhuja, Mahima, and Shalini, you have brought together people. 2 time ago, we were sweeping ourselves under the carpet and not giving ourselves any importance. But it is the time to celebrate yourself, celebrate the different person that you are, and to learn from each other's experiences. So my best wishes to you for this program. All the very best. I'm so happy to be part of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a lovely 3 pointers that you have given, that identifying your strength and loving yourself and expressing yourself. And I think now in today's session, that's what the plan is. Dr. Sindhuja Mishra will be elaborating more on that. Now over to you, Dr. Mishra.
Thank you so much, Mahimat, and very kind words, ma'am, for the self and for this forum for our teammates. You are very true that, yeah, we are openly, we do not accept that we love ourselves, and we find it, it is difficult. Though we say, okay, how many of you would be denying the fact that you don't love yourself? It will not be there. No? Everybody is like, yeah, we love ourselves, but when you are loving yourself, it is a journey. It is not a moment where you will be declaring it and then it is gone. And it may be difficult for us to accept it openly as to what self-love is. Is it easy to say and difficult to practice? Yes, it is easy to say and difficult to practice. Why? Because it requires your conscious efforts in the right direction at the right point of time. Then only you will be able to practice it and redo it in a fashion which will be helping you in growth. So what self-love is, it is, Mahima, can we take forward? It is appreciating your own self, right? It is self-love, as defined, it is a state of appreciation of oneself, number one thing, that grows from action that supports our physical, psychological, and spiritual growth. So when it comes to self-love, it is not only being happy. It may be that, yeah, there are different things which makes you feel happy. Eating pizza may make you feel happy, or doing certain things, maybe having liquor maybe makes you happy. But will it help you in your overall purpose of life, the growth aspect of your life? If it is not, we should not call it self-love. Self-love is not only catering to your wants, right? You have to see whether this want is going to be sustained for a longer period of time, and will it be helping you out in reaching your goal? If it is not, it will not be called as self-love. So two more important aspects of self-love is being empathetic and being compassionate. You need to understand, you need to accept, the way ma'am had already said. When these things are like, when we take it to next level, people may confuse. They say self-love is kind of selfishness, is being selfish. We may call it. Yeah, it may be. This is the purest form of selfishness. But if you are not fetching your own self, if you do not have what you want to spread, or you may be seeking it from the outside sources, right? So the major difference between self-love and being selfish is selfishness is being concerned excessively or exclusively for oneself or one's own advantage, pleasure, or welfare, regardless of others. So this is something particularly related to self-gratification. I want this, I don't mind at whatever cost. I do not see whether it will be it is going to help me out in my growth, or is it going to help out in family or the community I'm being with, right? So it is being indifferent and has no care and concern for other people. Coming to a higher level of this is narcissism. Can we have the next slide, please? Narcissism is a disorder in which a person has an inflated sense of self-importance. Inflated means it is expanded to a level where nothing else gets under the umbrella. The bigger umbrella is all concerned about the narcissist person only. His world is within this only. He is constantly looking for acceptance, appreciation, admiration, and validation from outside world, right? It is not something he is putting up. And one more aspect of narcissism is that there are different aspects, different dimensions of self-love, and narcissist is the person who is deeply in association with the physical appearance, how the person is looking, right? They want validation, appreciation, not because of their work, not because of their knowledge, skill. This is the physical aspect they are more concerned with, right? So I hope the dimension, the three things are different. One is self-love, second one is selfishness, and the third one is narcissism. Narcissism itself is a disorder, right? So constant recognition and admiration, these people are looking for, and they cannot love anyone else because they do not have self-love, right? They're just trying to impose themselves outside the world. They are getting and looking for the validation from the people. Coming to the next is like, why, what could be the barriers of self-love? We say that, yeah, we do self-love. But when it comes to like, my body is requiring a rest, I do not want to go somewhere for no good reason, just because I don't want to go. So do we not feel guilt? एक बार का काम है, चले जाते हैं, देख लेते हैं, कर लेते हैं, right? So many of the things comes. So when it comes to what are the barriers which may hinder your path towards self-love, these are the pointers, right? Number one thing is guilt. We feel guilty. क्या होगा, कैसा लगेगा हमको, अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, मैं कैसे किसी को I love myself. नहीं, कोई कहता है कि nominate somebody who you admire most, and we are like, it may be you, it may be someone else. Do we nominate ourselves? So self-love जब हम करते हैं तो एक guilt feeling हमें वहां पे आता है. हम कैसे किसी को कह दें, हमको तो लोग समझेंगे कि I am the narcissist, I am the selfish, I am putting myself ahead, I am not taking care of the rest of the people, so I must not. I must refrain from all these things. So number one thing is guilt, which is not making you go to the path of self-love. Number two is perfectionism, right? हम क्यों अपने, क्या ऐसा कौन सी काबिलियत है हमारे अंदर, क्या है हमारे अंदर, वो तो इतनी इस लेवल की लेडी है, वो ये करती हैं, उनके पास ये क्वालिफिकेशन है, मेरे पास भी ऐसा, जब मैं ये इस तरह का कर लूंगी, then probably I will love myself, right? So perfectionism is like, I should do this. Perfect होना चाहिए, perfect mother, perfect wife, perfect teacher, perfect person. कहाँ है वो हमारा perfect person? So perfectionism, कि perfect होने के चक्कर में हमें लगता है कि नहीं, अभी बहुत कुछ हमें करना है, हम उस लेवल पे पहुंचे ही नहीं है, तो why to love self, right? Number three is judgment. Again, the comparison level. हम अपने आप को जज करते हैं, हमने जब ये किया तो उसमें फेल हो गए, ये करना चाहा वो भी नहीं कर पाए, तो what good I am in? क्या ऐसा क्या है कि हम सेल्फ लव के बारे में बात करें? Number four is repressed emotions. It is said that unexpressed emotions are buried alive to come up in your life in uglier form. So if you have certain, the negative emotions from your childhood and which have not been dealt well, you are living the life with emotional baggages, and those emotional baggages will be interfering your path towards self-love. You will not only be able to do this honor to yourself, to love yourself, accept yourself, but it will also be hampering your relationship with others, right? Your family member, your professional organizations and all. Number five is comparisons. Again, social media is very good, and it is showing many of the positive aspect of the people's life, but we do not see the shadow behind it, right? So there is a figure and there is a background. We need to get into the background to see as to what other things are, where we are. Why can't we accept ourselves in absolute form? right? Why to have a comparison? She is better in looks, or he is better in terms of status and all these things. So these comparisons are not letting us accept what we are, and we are already always in dilemma as to are we good enough, right? Number 6 is pleasing people, because it has to be, because you are a mother, because you are a teacher, right? Because you are employee of an organization, so you cannot say no, right? Because we want if we will not be pleasing people, we will not be getting appreciation from the people, right? And appreciation, love, care, these all are the universal values. We all are craving for this. So what we find that we will keep pleasing other people, and in the same in a return, we will be getting appreciation and love from the others, and that is how our vacuum will be filled. Number 7 is cognitive distortions. This is something directly related to cognitive psychology, and it says that how we perceive the things. A lot of things, our perception is get altered by these distortions, right? So it is like what even if something negative has happened, so there are certain people who will be taking all the things very personally. It has happened because I could not do, because it was not my cup of tea, because it was imposed on me. So I feel low, I feel that I have done something wrong, and I must not I must repay it back. I'm ready to face any kind of punishment. So you are ready to face the punishment, but at what cost? Your self-efficacy will be disturbed, your confidence will be disturbed, your esteem will go down, and you will not be able to kick back. You will not be able to strive in the world. You will not be able to sustain in cutthroat competition. So to get over this, we have certain, we need to understand what are the special components of self-love. Can we have next slide, please? Why it is important? Researchers have already shown that it will be helping you out in developing more optimistic outlook of life, right? It will better adherence to healthy behavior changes, because we do not talk about acceptance at now. Not only this, but we have to see the future growth aspect as well, right? So better adherence to the healthy behavior changes, because we love ourselves. This is our body, this is our life, we have to take the charge of life, right? So of course we will like to live healthy, happy life, so that we are self-contented and we are able to help others as well. It will be helping in reducing the anxiety and depression, because your thought patterns have developed, you have understood that this is part of life. It will be helping in reducing stress and improving resilience. It may be that you get a back, right? You get tripped on a road, but with this concept of self-love, you will be able to bounce back. That is what the concept of resilience is, right? गिरते तो हैं ही, लेकिन वहीं गिरे रहना, जो लोग सेल्फ लव का कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं फॉलो कर रहे होंगे, उनके लिए बड़ा डिफिकल्ट होगा वहां से वापस उठ के वापस अपनी लड़ाई, अपने जीवन को आगे लेकर के जाना. So it will be helpful in resilience building, improving happiness, increasing energy level. Of course, because हम अपने आप को सेल्फ लव करके क्या कर रहे हैं, हम जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी को हम जितने भी गैजेट्स यूज करते हैं, we try to charge them. So self love is a concept which will be used as charging your own self. When you are charged, you will be able to give better services to anybody, better relationship with anybody, right? It will be reducing burnout, and in stronger interpersonal relationship would be there, because you cannot fill from empty cup, right? You have to learn yourself. You will be able to give people whatever you have. If you have courage, you will be able to give courage. If you have dilemma, you will be spreading those dilemma. If you have negativity, you will be spreading the negativity. And very important thing is, there is a quote which says, your energy introduces you much before you introduce yourself. What does this mean? That means whatever you are inside with outflow outside, and your aura will be so magnetic that people will like to come to you and talk to you, right? And that is what everybody wants, that appreciation, love, and care. So this is good to be to learn more about it, and we'll talk about a quick way of how to go about it. Next, please. So basically, two components of self-love. One is mindset. Second one is action. Mindset is pertaining to your present situation. Accept it. Awareness, what you are. Accept it. Awareness, what you want to do. Accept it. And then not only what I want to do, you have to take action in the proper direction. Then only you will be able to achieve what you want to do, right? So the present contentment will lead you to where you want to be. You are allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress simultaneously. It is not, no, I accept. Self-acceptance, self-love is self-acceptance. Okay, I accept. I'm tall, I'm dark, I'm fat, I'm happy. I have to be happy, I'm happy. No, this is not self-love, because that growth aspect is missing. If you are, it's okay, you have accepted, yeah, I'm happy. And now I need to meet the better version of myself, right? The moment you think over it, your self-love will make you in a path which will be entirely different from the present thing, and it will be taking you up gradually, right? So the two aspects of self-love is mindset and action. First, accept. Your mindset should not be said that, okay, I'm not good for nothing. I could not do this. I could not do this. I'm just a housewife. What else I can do, right? First of all, what you are, find out, talk to yourself. To manage the world outside, you need to close your eyes and manage your inside. So find out where you are, what you are, right? And then take the action which you feel like doing, which you think that will be helping you or adding in your spiritual, physical, mental, or emotional well-being, right? This is, of course, you have to decide. You think that somebody will be coming and will start appreciating yourself. You have to develop, you have to add value in yourself. What is your value addition? If you are not valuing your own self, and then, okay, what was the value of 100 rupees 5 years back is not the same. Why? Because the value addition has to be done. So that means if you want to be treated valuably, you have to do those value addition little bit, right? See at the back where you want, see in the front where you want to be, accept where you are, and develop a path. Next, please. Now we will be talking about foundations of self-love. See, this is not entirely based on one concept. There are n number of things which comprises self-love, right? So these are just few pointers which I thought must be relatable and should reach to the audiences. Number one is self-talk or your inner voice. This is an excellent method. If you do not accept and appreciate yourself, who else is going to do, right? So first of all, backslide my piece. So you need to see, you need to give, those dialogues to your brain. Many a time, many of the things are there on the internet. You must have seen the aspect of positive affirmations, how you start your days, right? Start with a positive thought, start with positive affirmations. Except, yes, yesterday was not that good what I have planned for. This is where I wanted to be. I could not be. Let me try again, right? It should not be that you do not recognize the efforts you have done. For this, you can use this SOS technique also, because when it comes to, thoughts, what happens that an individual in a day's time, an individual has almost 80,000 thoughts in a day, right? And most of these thoughts, 90 to 95% of these thoughts would be negative thoughts. What if this happened? What if that happened? What if this is there? How am I going to do this? And these negative thoughts keeps restraining us and reaching to our goal. So what you can do is use SOS techniques. Number one is S is stop. Whatever you are doing, maybe as when we use gadgets and many of the options, many of these apps you start downloading or playing, what happens? Things get heat up, hang, right? So stop. First S is stop there. Now observe as to why these kind of thoughts are coming up. What has happened? And then you have to search for what are the other aspects. You have to change, shift. The last S is shift your thought processes. बहुत हो गया, आज सुबह से हम अपने आप को इतना गरिया रहे हैं, इतनी बार अपना सेल्फ क्रिटिसाइज कर पाए, अब नहीं, नो मोर क्रिटिसिज्म, अब आज के दिन पे इनफ, right? So this SOS techniques may work when you do it deliberately. Stop, observe, shift, right? Number 2. Next slide, please. Self-discovery, right? And when it comes to self-discovery, it is in loop of self-actualization, self-development, and self-mastery. And it starts with self-awareness. We need to get to know as to who we are, what are our intentions, what I want to do, how I want to, if self-discovery, I want to do certain things in yoga or music. Then self-development, of course, then you'll be going for certain programs which will be helping you in reaching your discovered aim. Gradually, when you are practicing it again and again, you will be developing a mastery. And then with a master cannot keep shut for a single moment of time. Once a master, always a master, right? जिनके घर में जो लोग रहे हैं उनको लगता होगा कि आपकी तो टोन ही टीचर ही जैसी, आप बोलते ही उसी टोन में हो, क्योंकि अब आपके सिस्टम में वो चीजें आ चुकी हैं, आपको नई चीजें और लर्न करनी नहीं है, वो आपका एक कॉम्पोजिट आपका पैकेज बन गया है. तो पहली चीज हम अपने आप को जाने, हम चाहते क्या हैं. हम अगर आज की डेट पे हम कहें कि दूसरे के बारे में एक ऐसे लिखिए, अ गुड वाइफ, अ गुड मदर लिख देंगे, अपने बारे में एक ऐसे लिखिए, करके देखिए एक बार आप हैं क्या, अपने आप से अपने आप को जोड़िए, तभी आप आगे के जो जोड़ हैं उनको अच्छे से निभा पाएंगे. So number 2 is discovering who you are today is the first step of being who you will be tomorrow. Self discovery. लता मंगेशकर का केस इतना ज्यादा इस समय चल रहा है, इतनी छोटी एज पे ही उन्होंने समझ लिया था कि नहीं, स्कूल हमारा नहीं, हम नहीं जाएंगे, हमें म्यूजिक में इंटरेस्ट है. क्या किया उन्होंने, म्यूजिक उनको अच्छा लगता था, उन्होंने उसी लाइन पे अपने रियाज जारी किए, कोर्सेज किए, काम किए, और आज किस लेवल पे पहुंची वो, राइट? सो इट मे बी कि आप जानते हैं कोई बहुत जल्दी स्टेज पे पहुंच जाता है, किसी को टाइम लगता है, लेकिन एफर्ट्स तो करना शुरू करिए. अगर कहीं हेल्प की जरूरत पड़ती है, देयर आर एन नंबर ऑफ पीपल अक्रॉस who can be of some help to you. Number 3 is managing your mental health. Not everyone has a mental illness, but we all have a mental health. We have to accept. So what happens that कई बार ऐसा आप लोगों के साथ होता होगा कि आप किसी दिन उठे सुबह जल्दी और आपको लगा कि आज पता नहीं कुछ अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, आज मतलब for no reason, right? It's just your brain give you an indication, अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, एक थॉट आया. अब उस थॉट से रिलेटेड क्या होगा, आप जैसे तैयार होने, द कलर्स, द कॉस्ट्यूम, द the kind of feelings and emotions you are going through, आपको वैसे ही फील होने लगता है कि अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, पता नहीं कैसे डल सा एक कलर निकाला, ग्रे कलर का आपने कुछ पहना, बहुत डल सा कुछ, आप ऐसे ही बड़े मन से तैयार नहीं हुए, और आप कहीं बाहर गए, उस पर किसी ने आपसे पूछ लिया, बात करी कि क्या बात है, कुछ डाउन लग रहे हो, हाँ यार अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है. उस बीच में अगर किसी ने आपसे कुछ एडवाइस मांग ली, कुछ हेल्प मांग ली, और या आपकी मेड छुट्टी चली गई, या कुछ ऐसी चीजें हो गई जो हमारे कैलकुलेशन में नहीं थी, अब वो हमारे लिए एक बॉम्बार्डिंग हो गया, हमारा बिहेवियर अब वहां पे आउटबर्स्ट, राइट? सो व्हाट हैपेंस, आपके थॉट से इफेक्ट हुआ आपका फीलिंग, आपकी फीलिंग से इफेक्ट हुआ आपका बिहेवियर, और जैसा बिहेव करेंगे दूसरे के साथ, फिर आदमी आपको मिलेगा क्या, आपने किसी को डांटा, मारा, कुछ किया, तो in return what you will be getting? Similar thing, right? सो अगेन सिमिलर थॉट, देखा मैंने सोचा था कि अच्छा नहीं होगा और आज का दिन ऐसा ही गया. एंड दिस इज complete training, right? This is a therapy which a psychologist use, where we need to find out as to where the problems are, whether it is in your thoughts or in your behavior pattern or in your emotional pattern, and these things get synchronized. तो हमें सबसे बड़ी चीज ये है कि ब्रेन जो है, अगर वो हमसे कह रहा है, और ब्रेन आपको हमेशा इस तरह का करेगा, आप जैसे आपने कुछ अच्छा खाने की सोचे कि अच्छा कल से हम आई विल नरिश माई बॉडी, कल से हम अच्छा करेंगे. अब आज तो एक पार्टी में जाना है तो आज का रहने देते हैं, राइट, मे बी कल से करते हैं. उसके बाद यू आर लाइक कि देखो मेरे को चार्ट भी आ गया था और मैंने इसका पेमेंट दिया, फिर भी नहीं कुछ कर पाए, और बिहेवियर फिर से विल मेक यू गिल्टी. तो सेल्फ लव के लिए आपके थॉट्स को कंट्रोल करना बहुत जरूरी है. सोच समझ के अपने थॉट्स को वेलकम करिए, और एक फिल्टर हमेशा एक्टिवेटेड मोड पे रखिए कि जो हेल्पफुल थॉट्स हैं आपके उनको अपने तक रखिए, और जो इस तरह के नेगेटिव थॉट्स अगर आपको आ रहे हैं तो वी नीड टू सी एज टू व्हाट इज द रेशनल बिहाइंड व्हाई वी थिंक दैट आई एम नॉट गुड. How many times it has happened that I got this indication that I'm not good, and how many times are there which has proved that I'm good, right? So deliberately जब हम इस तरह की चीजें करते हैं तो we can rewire our thought processes, and this will be helping you out in accepting yourself and appreciating yourself. Coming to the next is self-acceptance. As it says, acceptance is not surrendering to the situation कि भाई हो गया खत्म. It says है क्या, इसको जानिए और उसमें क्या बेस्ट आप कर सकते हैं उसको सोचिए, right? So it starts with number 1, A, awareness. अगर हमें अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है, आज हमसे किसी ने बदतमीजी से बात करी है, और अब हम उन्हीं चीजों को मथते रहेंगे, चलाते रहेंगे कि हम क्यों, हमें आई फील बैड, अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है. सो अवेयरनेस, क्या हुआ ऐसा जो आपसे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है? नंबर 1 थिंग, कंपेयर. ये क्या पहली बार हुआ है आपके साथ, या इससे पहले भी हुआ है, या इससे ज्यादा खराब कुछ हुआ है आपके साथ, राइट? देन यू थिंक ओवर द कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस. वो जो सिचुएशन था उसमें क्या चीज ऐसी थी which could have contributed in getting over the situation. What were the contributions? क्या किया था आपने? So you need to repeat the same, right? This is transfer of learning, transfer of training. जो हमने वहां किया था, मे बी जब हमें ऐसा लगा था तो हम वॉक पे चले गए थे, हमने अच्छा से म्यूजिक सुना था, मे बी आई वेंट फॉर स्विमिंग और समथिंग. डू दैट. एफर्ट्स आपको लगाने पड़ेंगे, एंड लिटिल extra effort, a push has to be there. Why? Because when you are driving and your vehicle is into reverse gear, you cannot put it in a front gear directly, right? You have to get it to neutral and then you can move to front gear, right? So extra push will be required. आपको अच्छा नहीं लगेगा कि गलत कर रहे हैं, क्या इससे क्या फायदा है, हमें जरूरी नहीं है ये सब करें, लेकिन आपको अपने थॉट्स को प्रोग्राम करना है. आप सीख सकते हैं थॉट्स के प्रोग्रामिंग. नंबर 2 is thoughtful emotional replacement. That is when you say that you have gone through such a difficult situation, you have came out with flying colors, and this is what you have done, a pat on your back, right? Yeah, you can do it, you did it, and you will do it. Life is full of ups and downs. किसी ने एक जगह पे लिखा था, यदि दुख ना होते जीवन में, जीवन का आभास ना होता, मंजिल ही रह जाती, मानव का इतिहास ना होता, right? So this is how we learn and we grow and we move forward. So number 4 is self-acceptance. Coming to the next is number 5. Yeah, setting boundaries, learning, saying to no. नहीं, आज आप नहीं करेंगे. Fix it. First of all, establish क्या आपको करना है, क्या acceptable है. Reserve your reservations. हर चीज में नो करेंगे तो वो नो बड़ा कॉमन हो जाएगा, right? So reserve your reservations कि नहीं, संडे को नहीं करेंगे. Maybe this is just an example. Then you have to declare it कि नहीं, संडे को नहीं करेंगे. मैंने बोल दिया संडे को कोई काम नहीं, only rest day. Now you have to commit and persevere. That means जो जैसे ही deviations होते हैं, अब यानी अच्छा आज तो बच्चे का है इसलिए कर लेते हैं, अच्छा आज क्योंकि वो आंटी जी का उन्होंने बोला इसलिए कर लेते हैं. No. You have to set your boundaries, do it thoughtfully. Once said, commit to it and assert your right. This is what I want. अगर इसमें deviations होगा तो उसके repercussions ये होंगे. मैं सो रही हूँ, मुझको किसी ने जगाया तो फिर उसको बैठ के पढ़ना ही पड़ेगा, right? So whatever you have done, you have to set your boundaries. Learn to say no. Saying yes, pleasing people. Every time you are saying yes, maybe many a time you are saying no to your own self. So keep it on check. कितनी बार no का rejection हम कितनी बार लेकर के चलेंगे, right? Coming to the next.
And here I would like to say that setting boundaries, as you very well said, at times, like you said, that we compromise on our own boundary. Sleep is one such thing where we set a boundary of, okay, we'll sleep at this time, and then we cross that boundary because of Netflix or Amazon Prime.
Right.
So that also has to be controlled, I believe.
Of course, क्योंकि वो भी हमारी एक self care का important aspect है, self love का. Next aspect is this self care. Now this is multi-dimensional. Why? Because it will not only be talking about physical, mental, emotional, but also financial, your creative, your intellectual. Many of the dimensions get included into this. It is not only you are taking care of physical, maybe that it will be helping you out in your mental health, maybe in your spiritual health, but the connectivity has to be developed. Multifaceted process of purposeful engagement, purposeful, conscious engagement. Every day, live life with some thought, right? What you want to do for today, small steps. So purposeful engagement in strategies. I want to do, but how? Strategize that promote healthy functioning and enhance well-being. Functioning at the moment and well-being also, that is you are able to sustain and take corrective actions wherever things are required. You are self-sufficient, right? So what are the major dimensions of self-care? I will not be elaborating. I'll just be going through next slide. These are the 8 types of self-care, where it is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, environment, social, and financial. Because once one part is, if there is a problem at one aspect, it will be affecting other also negatively. So it's a complete chain. You cannot say that only physical is to be taken care of, emotional is to be taken care of. Everything it comes as a composite. So we must work on these little things which may help us in self-love. Coming to the next. Guys, if you have any queries, you can put up in chat box. So this is the basic foundations of self-love we have talked about. Number 1, self-discovery, then mental health. Self-discovery is learning your likes, developing goals, hobbies, interests that make you happy. It may be like, earlier I used to do stitching, now I'm not doing it. If it was your hobby, if you want to do those knitting, you want to go for some kind of sketching, drawing, art, do not leave your hobby, right? Live with this. Comes to the next is mental health. That is focused on stress management and mental health, learning healthy coping skills. This is very, very important. We have done certain sessions also with Mahima in Adani Group. It was much appreciated. How to manage stress. There could be, it is not a one-day affair. It is not something which could be taught to everybody in a same pattern. We need to find out as to what are the major causes, and then we will be strategizing it, right? Then self-acceptance, accepting that you do not have to be perfect to be worthy of love. Whatever you are, however you are doing your best. Give those positive affirmations to your brain. Otherwise, if you do not accept yourself, who else is going to accept you, right? Then you have to set boundaries, cultivating healthy communication and boundaries in your relationship. Give and take. You need to understand as to what things are there which may be hampering, how to control controllables. There are certain things which can be controlled. It is not that we have to work as per the given situation. There are certain things we can plan, so plan it. So you can communicate, do this, making the time to meet your needs as best as you can, spending time on your hobbies and interests, self-care, maybe physical aspect, emotional aspect, whatever you feel like doing, do this. And then the inner voice, keep feeding yourself, you are doing well, you are better, you will be better, you are working on yourself. That is what the best investment is, right? Coming to the next. 5 things to be very clear, that self-love is not a linear process. It will not start from A, then B, then C, then D. One day it may be A is there, B is down, C is parallel, D is again very down. Maybe E will bounce back, right? So ups and downs होंगे, ये same नहीं होता. This is life, right? Love, self-love is not a rapid process. ये नहीं कि हाँ कल से हम करेंगे, एक हफ्ते के लिए हमने किया और देखिए now I am self-loving person. It will be taking time. You need to uncover the sources of healing, and it can be difficult. आपको क्या अच्छा लगता है? What are things are there which may help you out in figuring out where you are, where you want to be. It may be that you take the help of some expert in the field of mental health. What you want to be? I'm not feeling good. So person will be devoting sufficient time, will be taking out different strategies, maybe assertiveness training, maybe mindfulness, and these things can be practiced as a reactive mechanism or as a proactive mechanism. Number 4 is self-love is not always fun. अच्छा खा लिया, कोल्ड ड्रिंक पी लिया और उसके बाद फिर हम रोते हैं कि लो वेट बढ़ गया, राइट? So it is not always fun कि हम, it is okay, it may be that आज मन नहीं है मेरा पार्टी में जाने का, सब लोग बुला रहे हैं, फोन ऑफ कर दिया, कर सकते हैं आप डिस्कनेक्ट करिए, डिटॉक्स करिए, डिजिटल डिटॉक्स करिए, राइट? हो सकता है कुछ दिन के लिए आपको अप्रिसिएशन नहीं मिलेगा, लेकिन वो टाइम ऐसा होगा जहां आप सॉलिट्यूड में जाएंगे एंड यू गेट टू नो व्हाट यू आर. Then self-love is a lifelong journey and everyone has a different journey. उस जर्नी में हमारे पास्ट एक्सपीरियंसेस, हमारे फ्यूचर एस्पिरेशंस, हमारे प्रेजेंट ऑब्लिगेशंस सबके अलग होते हैं और उसके साथ भी हम आगे जीवन जीते हैं और जीना है हमको. नेक्स्ट, now quick ways to practice yourself. Number 1, be mindful. Being mindful is live consciously, right? Think कि हमने think over it कि if I am snoozing my alarm button, how it is going to affect rest of the day. 15 मिनट बाद उठे, दौड़ते दौड़ते काम किया, परेशान हुए और आफ्टर में क्या हो रहा है कि वी आर सो स्ट्रेस्ड कि हम सब तरफ मैनेज नहीं कर पा रहे क्योंकि हम डिसिप्लिन नहीं है. वी हैव टू बी लिटिल मोर डिसिप्लिन. करना है तो करना है, तो दिन का पहला घंटे पे अपने आप को चार्जर पे आपको लगाना है. चार्ज योरसेल्फ. फर्स्ट आवर आपका दिन का जो आपके लिए होना चाहिए, जिससे रेस्ट ऑफ द डे विल बी सॉर्टेड. वो पहले घंटे में अगर आप वॉक कर रहे हैं, आप योगा कर रहे हैं, थॉट्स आर देयर, यू आर एबल टू प्लान योर डे. ओके, ये इंपॉर्टेंट मेल जाना है, ये काम करना है, ये करना है. अदरवाइज जैसे जैसे आते जाएंगे वैसे वैसे करते जाएंगे और वो चीजें क्योंकि अनएक्सपेक्टेड आएंगे हमारे पास, तो हमारे लिए उनकी हैंडलिंग भी डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगी. Number 2, act on what you need. There is a difference between need and want. Needs are limited. Wants do not have any limit. So today's concept is be a minimalist. Minimum चीज है, जितना आपके वार्डरोब में जितना कपड़ा है उतना ही टाइम आपको मैनेज करने में लगाना है. 4 रखें तो इजीली आपसे मैनेज हो सकता है. सो मिनिमलिस्ट का एक कॉन्सेप्ट है जो मिस्टर नारायण मूर्ति एंड सुधा मूर्ति ने इसको काफी एडवोकेट करते हैं. कहते हैं कि हमारे पास 4 साड़ी हैं और उसी से मेरा काम चलता है. Why should I go for 5th साड़ी now? So see as to what are your needs. आपके लिए जरूरी क्या है, और वो जो नीड होती है वो हमारे सर्वाइवल के लिए जरूरी होती है. वांट हमारी सर्वाइवल के लिए जरूरी नहीं है, नीड हमारी नीड फुलफिल होनी चाहिए, राइट? सेट बाउंड्रीज. यू कैन गो फॉर assertiveness training programs. Many of the organizations and I do it. So you have to be assertive, learn to say no, protect your energy, check your energy drainage. कहाँ क्या चीजें ऐसी हैं जो आप पहले से प्लान कर सकते हैं, लेकिन हम उसको कि ठीक है कल हमको जाना है, अब जाते समय मैंने सोचा कि हम ये पहनेंगे और वो हमने यहीं रखा था और अब नहीं मिल रहा है. This could have been planned, right? So check energy drainage, कहाँ पे हमारी ड्रेनेज हो रही है, क्या प्रॉब्लम्स आ रही हैं. लिव इंटेंशनली. गोल ओरिएंटेशन. गोल ओरिएंटेशन को हम ये इससे नहीं रिलेट करना है कि हमको बहुत हाई लेवल पे कुछ जा करके करना, सोसाइटी के लिए करना, कम्युनिटी के लिए करना, अपने लिए तो करिए। आज के दिन आई एम गोइंग टू नरिश माई बॉडी, टुडे आई एम गोइंग टू टेक केयर, आई एम गोइंग टू पैम्पर माई बॉडी, राइट? आई एम गोइंग टू डू समथिंग विच विल एड ऑन स्किल, नॉलेज और इन माई एटीट्यूड। कुछ हर दिन के लिए कुछ एक चीज हो। शो अप फॉर योर सेल्फ, एक्नॉलेज योर एफर्ट्स। इट शुड नॉट बी कि मैंने ये ट्राई किया लेकिन पहुंचे नहीं। एक शेर एक शिकार करने के पहले कितनी बार ट्राई करता है तब वो शिकार कर पाता है। तो एक्नॉलेज करिए एफर्ट्स, अगर आप लगा रहे हैं सही डायरेक्शन में लगाएंगे, इट विल पे यू बैक। आप उससे लर्न कर रहे हैं। सो एक्नॉलेज योर एफर्ट्स दैट दिस वाज गुड, आई ट्राई माय लेवल बेस्ट, मे बी थोड़ा और। प्रैक्टिस सेल्फ केयर, फीड योर सोल, what your inner calling is, what you want to do, and little small efforts will add upon it. Forgive yourself. This is very important. मेरी वजह से हो गया, मैंने ये नहीं किया होता तो ऐसा ना होता, ये नहीं होता, गड़बड़ कर दिया मैंने। ठीक है, you cannot change the past. You do not have those right. जो भी है उसको accept करिए, forgive करिए कि that was wrong on my part, and I will try not to get indulged into such kind of things in future. Believe in yourself this time a little more, क्योंकि ये एक वैसी सिचुएशन हो जाती है। एक अच्छे पेरेंट जैसे हम लोग कहते हैं, एक बच्चे के लिए एक अच्छे पेरेंट बनने के लिए हमें उसको नरिश करना है। जब वो निगेटिव फील करता है तो उस समय तो हम उसको थोड़ा सा और एक्स्ट्रा करते हैं ना, कि उसके मन का कुछ खाना बनाएंगे, उस कहीं घुमाने ले जाएंगे। तो जब इस तरह की, यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरिंग पेरेंट फॉर योर सेल्फ एज वेल। अपने लिए भी वही पेरेंट को हमें एक्टिवेट रखना है। नेक्स्ट प्लीज, आई थिंक वी आर डन विद दिस। या so open for your queries. I think it would have given you some insight to work upon. I do not expect everyone to follow everything, but little steps if you start, it will add up. So it said that everyone has 2 lives, and the second one starts when you realize that you have only one. So better realize it, pull up your socks and take initiative of this self-love. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sindhuja. Now I request Ms. Shalini Chaudhary take it ahead and ask the questions that we have got.
Yes. Thank you, Mahima ji. Thank you, Sindhuja Avasthi ji. This was really very beautiful session, I must say. And I think everybody has been enlightened from this. And now we move on to the open question and answers. Anybody who wants to ask something to ma'am, they can just put in the chat box. Otherwise, we are having many questions. I think most of them are covered in the session which ma'am has given. But there are a few questions which still remain unanswered, Sindhuja ji. So shall we take it up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There was one question from a member, from a guest. How not to feel depressed on your non-achievement and inaction afterwards for a given opportunity?
How not to feel depressed. Okay.
Yes, and on your non-achievement.
So this is something which we have touched upon, that building resilience. You are talking about when you lack resilience, right? Why you lack resilience is because we feel that, okay, we got tripped, गिरे। अब गिर के उठने के लिए हम वेट करते रहते हैं कि कोई आएगा हमको उठाएगा। जो लोग सेल्फ लव में होते हैं, they understand that this is part of life. Ups and downs are part of life. गिरे हैं, ठीक है, एक बार धक्का लगा है तो हमको उठना पड़ेगा, right? So again, it's rewiring your thought processes. Maybe हम उस चीज पे जब हमारे पास we are looking for certain kind of support, right? कि somebody should come and wake us up from that situation. और क्या होता है कि जब आप कोई लगता है कि नहीं अब सब गड़बड़ हो गया, अब तो कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता, तब आप वहीं रह जाते हो, you cannot move further. So bouncing back is important, which has a lot to do with your cognitive aspect. आपको देखना पड़ेगा क्या आप सोच रहे हैं, क्यों नहीं आप उठ पा रहे हैं उस प्रॉब्लम से,
Okay. There is one more question. The person is saying that how to get away with the stage fright, or how to control myself from getting nervous when given an opportunity to speak in public.
Okay. There is some certain other questions also, ma'am, will be taking up. So stage fright, I'm pretty sure. See, public speaking is something which is the biggest fear. It is said that public speaking is the biggest fear. Next comes the fear of death. So it is so much common for everybody. First of all, we must understand that you are not alone who has this stage fright. People who are doing so well, they also had this kind of feelings. They had this emotion that they cannot do well, but they are doing well. So it is gradually learning and exposing yourself to a situation, right? Again and again, with a little more trial, with little more preparation, so that you are able to do well in the assignment given, and then it will be adding upon in your self-efficacy. Gradually, it will be building on your self-esteem, and you will be coming out of this fear of stage.
Thank you,
so
Sir.
Keep doing, practicing. लगे रहिए. Life is not one day match. अपने आप को जमाए रखिए. आप उस पिच पे एक बॉल आएगी, मारेगी, गिराएगी, हिट करेगी, आपको चोट लगाएगी, फिर भी खड़े रहिए. आप सीख जाएंगे कैसे वहां पे आपको बॉल को हिट करना है, और आप हिट करेंगे. राइट? Perseverance is very important.
जैसे एक बच्चा सिखाते हैं हम लोग, जब एक बच्चे को एक गेम सिखाते हैं तो वो लगा रहता है, फिर अल्टीमेटली
गिरते हैं ना, गिरते. छोटे बच्चे भी, हम चले हैं, हम गिरे हैं, उठे हैं, आज हम दौड़ भी रहे हैं.
Seriously, very nice. Next is that a person is saying, my mother is so weak mentally from last 30 years. She's not ready to take any medicine. It is tough to give her medicine. Sometimes she becomes so aggressive.
See, this is a case of geriatric issues. और स्पेशल डिपार्टमेंट्स होते हैं, स्पेशल पीपल होते हैं जो जेरियाट्रिक लोगों को ट्रीट करते हैं. मेरा एक सजेशन आपके लिए ये जरूर होगा कि हो सकता है उनको मेडिसिन से ज्यादा कोई बात करने वाला चाहिए. उनके पास बहुत कुछ है अपनी चीजों को शेयर करने के लिए. हम लोग दौड़ा भागी में दवा खा लीजिएगा, ये खा लीजिए, ये आपके लिए जरूरी ये है. उसको what you are doing is matter, but how you are doing may matter more for these kind of people, right? Old age has its own way. They are also like kids only. तो उनको समझाना, उनको time देना, maybe she is looking for that. So try doing this.
Thank you, Sunaji. Next we are having how to pull out my inner stress and build confidence.
Confidence building वही वाली चीज है कि confidence is a byproduct, right? हम जो कहते हैं ना कि confidence आपको कोई सिखा सकता है, तो वो आपका अपना ही मन है. Confidence is a byproduct. That means this is outcome of what you have done inside, the processing of the matter inside. जो हम लोग सिंपल टर्म में कहते हैं ना, इनपुट, प्रोसेस एंड आउटपुट. तो कॉन्फिडेंस इज आउटपुट, राइट? आउटपुट ऑफ द इनपुट्स व्हिच हैव बीन प्रोसेस्ड इनसाइड. तो आप अपने आप को अपने अपग्रेडेशन के लिए क्या कर रहे हैं? जो इंफॉर्मेशन आप लेंगे, यू आर व्हाट यू आर गोइंग थ्रू, राइट? You are kind of people you are dealing with, kind of the stuff you are going through, that will be adding upon your personality. Then you will be processing this information. And when this is properly managed, the confidence has to come. हम जिस एग्जाम के लिए, किसी एग्जाम में हमारा बड़ा अच्छा कॉन्फिडेंस होता है, क्यों? क्योंकि या तो वो सब्जेक्ट हमारे मन का है, या हमने उसमें अच्छा खासा टाइम दिया है. जब हमें टाइम दिया है तो कॉन्फिडेंस आएगा ही आएगा ना. तो अपने आप को टाइम दीजिए, अपने आप से कनेक्ट करिए और देखिए आप क्या आपका पोटेंशियल है. डोंट ट्राई टू कॉपी कि उसका कॉन्फिडेंस वो ऐसा करता है. कुछ चीजें हैं आप कॉपी भी कर सकते हैं. सी, दिस इज आल्सो अलाउड. आपको किसी का तरीका अच्छा लगता है बात करने का, व्हाई नॉट टू कॉपी? लेकिन अपने आप को भी कनेक्ट करिए आप, राइट? सो दिस कैन बी वन वे. या
नेक्स्ट वी आर हैविंग yes, Mahima, you are saying something.
Yeah, we have a live question, somebody who's joined us live, so I would request to answer that first. There's a
Yes,
question
yes, sure.
that says that how can one overcome negative thoughts, such as thoughts that come every time when you plan anything? So negative thoughts when you're planning something new.
Okay. So, like I've already said, we are full of negative world. We are just living in a superficial world, right? तो हम क्या होता है कि हम ये negative thoughts आ कहाँ से रहे हैं? See, there are different aspects of these negative thoughts. One is physiological imbalance, right? Which we presume that there are certain neurotransmitters, and it may be that some chemical imbalance is there, which is generating a particular kind of negative thoughts leading to depression, anxiety, and all these things, right? So it could be we need to figure it out. What is the reason? Is it environmental reasons? Is it cognitive reason? Or is it physiological reason which is contributing to this negative thoughts? And many a time it comes like it will be combination of all. So you need to consult the people. So first of all, we need to, like everything, charity begins at home. Number one, awareness is one thing. ये negative thoughts कब से आ रहे हैं आपके? क्या हुआ था उस समय जब से आपको ये आने शुरू हुए? क्या फ्रीक्वेंसी है? क्या डे बाय डे इनकी फ्रीक्वेंसी बढ़ती जा रही है? क्या ये चीजें आपके ओवरऑल वेलबीइंग में, आपकी लाइफ को रेगुलर वे में मैनेज करने में डिफिकल्टी दे रहे हैं? You need to go to a counselor. Counselor will find it out the reason. If it is within the therapy, they will be using certain therapies for cognitive restructuring, mindfulness, and certain other practices through which you may feel comfortable. If the counselor will be finding that this is something physiological or neurotransmitter or hormonal or some kind of imbalance is there, then you will be referred to a psychiatrist or clinical psychologist who may be helping you out in getting over the situation.
Okay. So this very important question. How do I recognize the destructive patterns and make myself realize the importance of self-love? Importance of self-love we have already discussed. Then she adds, because it gets very difficult to understand and realize that there might be actually something wrong with me. How do I recognize the destructive patterns? This is the main question.
Okay, so for this, I would suggest you one practice which you can do is, if you feel like, suppose I feel that I'm a total failure in life. So what you need to do as to how many incidences are there which you can quote and say that these were the incidences where I failed totally, right? Number one thing is this. Then you have to find out, is there all incidents of failure, or is there anything in contrast with your failure? Were you totally failure, or there were certain issues, certain aspects where you did really well, right? So it is not only कि एक आदमी ने अगर आपको लिख दिया कि you are not looking good and you take it directly to your heart. You need to give these thoughts to your brain. Elaborate, find out how justified it is, how rational it is, right? कितने incidences हैं आपके पास कि आप ये कहें कि आप failure हैं, और कितने ऐसे हैं कि आप एक hero हैं? हमारे अंदर हम जल्दी से negativity absorb कर लेते हैं, right? It always says that construction takes time and destruction don't take that much of time. तो ये तो बहुत easy है, हमारे पास आया और हमने सोच लिया कि ये ऐसा है और हम भाग लिए. Fight or flight. To fight, you have to equip yourself with a proper thought pattern. You have to see whether this is right or not, whether this is your platform or not, and then you have to move ahead. Right? So cognitive restructuring programming होती है, जो कॉमन नहीं होती है, उसकी प्रैक्टिस कराई जाती है, लोगों को सिखाया जाता है, काउंसलर्स को उसकी ट्रेनिंग की जाती है, और ना कोई काउंसलर भी आपके ऊपर अप्लाई कर सकता हो, या आप खुद भी अपने लिए वो सीख सकते हैं, right? Self hypnosis is another pattern.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sindhya. Next is, I always feel anxious about finishing my task, whether they are professional or household, which makes me experience stress until those tasks are completed. While this makes me more action-oriented, it drains me out as well. How do I bring balance in my life? Balance is the main question.
Balance is the key of life, in fact, right? तो आपके क्वेश्चन में ही आपका आंसर भी है. कई चीजें हैं जो हमारे कंट्रोल में हैं. कंट्रोल योर कंट्रोलेबल्स. कोई चीजें हैं जो हमारे कंट्रोल में बिल्कुल नहीं है. सो वेयर वी अप्लाई दिस कंटिजेंसी अप्रोच. ठीक है, हमने प्लान किया था कि हम ऐसे ऐसे करेंगे, ये करेंगे, ऐसा होएगा. ठीक है, उसकी प्लानिंग के हिसाब से कि हमें वहां जाना है, हमें ये कपड़े पहनने हैं, हमने ऐसी तैयारी कर ली. लास्ट मोमेंट पे आपके कोई गेस्ट आ गए. अब आप उसको हो तो गया कि चलो कर लेंगे, जल्दी मैनेज कर लेंगे, राइट? लेकिन हमें उसमें स्ट्रेस होगा ही होगा, क्योंकि वो अनएक्सपेक्टेड गेस्ट है हमारे. इसी तरह से हमारे कुछ अनएक्सपेक्टेड थॉट्स भी होते हैं, राइट? अब वहां पे हमें क्या हम उसको क्या करेंगे? एक तो पहली चीज हमको ये समझना है कि कुछ काम जो आप कर रहे हैं उसमें कहीं सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन की कमी तो नहीं है. क्योंकि सेल्फ लव का एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट है कि आपने अपने आप को अगर प्रॉपरली चार्ज किया है, देन ओनली यू कैन प्रोवाइड सर्विसेज. If you have not charged yourself in terms of your self-care, your self-love, your self-acceptance, you will not be able to give appropriate services to anybody, right? तो control the controllables. जो चीजें आप कर सकते हैं, आप थोड़ा अपने लिए समय जरूर निकालें. आप जब चार्ज होंगे तब आप दूसरे को चार्ज कर पाएंगे, दूसरे के लिए कुछ कर पाएंगे. अदरवाइज क्या होगा कि हम करते रहते हैं. व्हाट हैपेंस कि जैसे हम लोग इंटरनेट चलाते हैं, आपने एक ब्राउजर खोला, उस पर कुछ खुल रहा होता है, तब तक हमने दूसरा खोल दिया होता, उस पर हम कुछ डाउनलोड लगाते, फिर हम तीसरा खोल देते हैं. तो ऑल आर इन लूप एंड दे ऑल अफेक्ट फंक्शनिंग ऑफ ईच अदर, राइट? एंड योर सिस्टम विल गेट हीट अप और वहां पे ऑटोमेटिक शट डाउन कर देगा. तो डूइंग नथिंग इज ऑल्सो एन इम्पॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट ऑफ डूइंग समथिंग. इसको बहुत अच्छे से समझ लें हम कि हम आज रेस्ट करेंगे, कि इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि यू आर गुड फॉर नथिंग, राइट? उस दिन हमने दिन वेस्ट कर दिया, वो दिन आपने एक्चुअली यूज किया है. वन लेजी डे में एड अप इन योर प्रोडक्टिविटी. तो हो सकता है बहुत कुछ काम आपके पास आ रहा है एंड यू हैव नॉट टेकन अ ब्रेक. उस समय थोड़े टाइम के लिए ब्रेक लीजिए, सिचुएशन से हटिए, सी द थिंग्स एज अ थर्ड पर्सन. किसकी क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हो रही हैं, क्या चीजें आपके हाथ के बाहर हैं और क्या चीजें आप कर सकते हैं. प्लान आउट दोज थिंग्स व्हिच यू कैन डू, और चीजें अपने आप सॉर्ट आउट होती रहेंगी.
We have one more question from the live audience, that why mainly ladies get indulged in eating junk food to satisfy themselves when they feel depressed.
I think you are the right person to answer this question, Mahima.
Yeah, I can. This thought of self-destructive can be overcome. Yes, certainly it can be. As Dr. Sindhuja said, that you have to be mindful in choosing these thoughts that are coming to your mind. So you have to choose.
You may be taking help. You should take some help from health practitioners, mental health practitioners.
So you have to choose it, and you have to be mindful about why it is bothering you. The root cause is to be analyzed. And if we talk technically, there are hormones. One hormone is ghrelin, which is a hunger hormone. It increases when you are under stress. So when you're stressed, stress hormone increases. And with that, the ghrelin increases. And that makes you eat all bad things. And that puts you again in guilt. So that is why a discipline is required. A discipline that I'm not supposed to eat this, I will stay away from it. When you know that this is not, and the guilt comes.
अभी जो थर्ड सेमेस्टर के बच्चे आएंगे ना एग्जाम देने, उन्होंने तो लिखा ही नहीं है 2-3 साल से.
Some mic is on. I request everybody to keep your mics off.
नहीं, इन्होंने 1 साल.
Yes.
Okay.
So
yeah, continue please.
The discipline is required, that if you feel guilty because you know that was the not right kind of food that you should have eaten.
And in addition to this, I would say that, like I said, you have to be a caring parent, right, for yourself also. How you do parenting. बच्चों के लिए क्या अच्छा है, क्या बुरा है. मैगी ठीक है, संडे मिलेगी, right? Put it as something which can be done. Not कि एंटायरली नहीं, मैगी नहीं, मेरे घर में मैगी नहीं बनती, मेरे घर में टीवी नहीं चलता. कब तक, कहाँ तक बचाओगे आप उन सब चीजों से? आप कब तक बचोगे, राइट? लेकिन छोटे छोटे स्टेप्स अगर आप लेंगे कि ओके, अगर 2 बार हमने गड़बड़ शड़बड़ खा लिया है तो अब डिटॉक्स करने का टाइम है. अब थोड़ा बॉडी को नरिश भी करना है. क्यों? क्योंकि आपको ये बॉडी ही एक ऐसी चीज है जो आपके आखिरी समय तक आपके साथ है। तो उसमें आप क्या फीड इन कर रहे हैं? आप मानी बात है, कोई पेड़ लगाएंगे तो उसको अच्छा है पानी, खाद, सनलाइट देंगे ना, जिससे वो अच्छे फल दे आपको। या थोड़े टाइम में आपने उसको आप एसिड उसमें डाल देंगे और वो पूरा पेड़ गल के बैठ जाएगा। बी थॉटफुल, माइंडफुल, डिसिप्लिन। थोड़ा किया, चलो आज हमने कम से कम, आज 2 बार मेरे को लगा कि मुझे आज पिज्जा ऑर्डर कर देना चाहिए, स्विगी कॉल करना चाहिए, लेकिन नहीं किया। पैट ऑन योर बैक। धीरे धीरे बढ़ेंगे। पहले दिन ही आप 10,000 स्टेप नहीं पहुंच सकते हैं। टेक 10 steps. Maybe after 4 days, take few more steps. Gradually. It's a journey. I said it's a journey. It is not a one-day process. Overnight, you cannot achieve it. Yeah. Any other queries?
No, there was a last query that was overthinking is killing me inside. How to control overthinking and get rid away of it.
Okay. So overthinking is again a lot of emotional baggages are there. Overthinking, that means we are thinking on certain things which may not happen as well, or which will not be taking place, right? So pros and cons, and then you have to, like I said, rewire your thought processes. Okay, I did enough practice, I did enough homework, कैसे क्या करना है। मेरे को याद है when I wrote my thesis, PhD thesis, और it has gone for interstate evaluation, क्योंकि PhD में ये होता है कि interstate evaluation के लिए जाते हैं, सब जगह चली गई थी। उसके बाद I opened it and I found there was जो हम टेबल मेंशन कर रहे हैं, तो वो टेबल का जो रेफरेंस नंबर मैंने उसमें डाला था और जो कंटेंट लिखा था वो डिफरेंट था, right? And what my guide said, n number of, whenever you will be opening your thesis, you will be finding a mistake, right? तो आप उस चीज को एक्सेप्ट कर लीजिए। मिस्टेक इज अ पार्ट ऑफ आवर बीइंग ह्यूमन। गलतियां होती हैं, हम सोचेंगे, लेकिन हम ओवरथिंकिंग का मतलब क्या है, हम बिल्कुल फूल प्रूफ मेथड पे जाना चाह रहे हैं, विच इज वेरी वेरी रेयर। परफेक्शनिज्म की तरफ हम बढ़ रहे हैं, और परफेक्शनिज्म आपको बहुत टायरिंग एस्पेक्ट पे लेकर के छोड़ देगा। जब तक हम उस लेवल पे नहीं पहुंचेंगे तब तक हम कुछ नहीं करेंगे। थोड़ा थोड़ा करना शुरू करिए, आपको पता ही लगेगा आप कैसे उस लेवल पे पहुंच गए।
Sindhuja ji. Now that was all, I think, from the questions. If any other questions are there, please you can pin up on the chat. And now I shall be handling the further proceedings to Mahima ji.
Thank you, Shalini ji. It was a lovely session, Dr. Sindhuja, and we got to learn that whatever we want to achieve and whatever is bothering us is within us, and the solution also lies with us. It's just that we have to be very thoughtful and mindful about it. To end this session, we were expecting Mr. Alok Ranjan, ex-Chief Secretary, UP, but he is not been able to make it because of the election activities which are going on. Now, I would request again Vanita Prakash ma'am to share her concluding remarks. And before I do that, I would request Dr. Sindhuja and Ms. Shalini Chaudhary to join me in handing over a virtual certification of appreciation to ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am is there?
Yes, ma'am is there. Vinita ma'am? Is this visible?
No.
It's not. Okay.
You are sharing your screen?
Yes.
Now it's uploading.
It's uploading. Okay.
But certificate is not there. It's just my PPT.
Yes, now it is visible. Now.
No, it's not there.
Wait. These technical glitches. You can't say that you're using technology till the time you don't feel.
And we have to learn this many aspects from the technology, that last moment, even if whatever level of preparation you have, last moment you be ready for any kind of glitch.
Again, I cannot see.
Ma'am, till she's finding the certification, I have a last question.
Sure, Gaurav sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, as you said that for few things, like you have to find the counselor who can understand that what is going wrong, and he or she can suggest you for the clinical psychiatrist.
Yeah.
So finding a counselor is also, I think, a very difficult task, because if you have any problem related with your health, normal health, you know that this dentist is famous for this, and but counseling and psychiatrists, people are generally not recommending, because people are having fear that if I'm taking help from the psychiatrist or counselor, people will judge me. So finding a right counselor or psychiatrist, what all ways to check or to recommend or to find the right counselor?
All right. So when that means you are talking, you want to cut down on the criteria so that you can be certain about the authenticity of the counselor,
like we're
right?
checking on Portia or Practo, the doctors.
Many,
yeah. The same way, how to check the counselor and clinical psychiatrist?
See, first of all, I would say that you must see a proper degree for sure. The proper degree from the field of psychology, right? The person should minimum be a master in psychology to be called as counselor, right? Then different aspects of psychology is there, where the person may go for behavioral or rehabilitation, or maybe clinical, right? So depending upon your situation, you may opt for. I would definitely recommend to go for a counselor first, because psychiatrist is something which is easily available, right? You many time I find people are looking for psychiatrist. Why psychiatrist? This is because we need to understand the difference between a psychologist and psychiatrist first. Psychologists work with your thought processes and they try to help you out getting over with the situation without using any medication, right? So psychologists, they believe that there are other things beside these neurotransmitter and chemical imbalance in the body which may be attributing to a particular problem. So they will try to figure out whether it is your social aspect or your emotional or financial, which aspect is bothering you. Whereas when you reach to a psychiatrist, they understand definitely this is some some neurotransmitter imbalance, right? That means physiological imbalance is there, and to get over this physiological imbalance, they may be giving you certain medications to in fact suppress the state, right? The cure will not be there on the root cause. They work on the symptoms. So one need to understand as to what is the severity of the problem. Yes, it may be that the problem is very severe. You should directly go to a psychiatrist. That it has been 4 or 5 days, I could not sleep, right? Or these thoughts are bothering me, or I feel suicidal, right? But if you have ample time and your problem is not very severe nature, you may contact a counselor. So first of all, the degree, the experience which person is having, and of course you can see the person's testimony if it is there. Now everybody is on net, so you can check up on those, and you can see whether similar kind of problem is the forte of a person or not, right? Counselor can deal with n number of things, but then you have a specialization as well. So these are the things you can work for.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, Mahima.
Thank you so much, Sindhuja ma'am. And thank you so much to each and every person who took out time on this Saturday evening. It was wonderful having you, and we'll continue to help you emotionally, financially also, because there are certain interesting financial help and financial well-being programs planned in the coming month by the end of this financial year. Thank you so much, everybody, for taking out your time.
And this vote of thanks from self. Ma'am is there?
Yes.
Ma'am is there.
Yeah, ma'am is there.
So request you, ma'am, to unmute yourself. Vinita ma'am.
I think she's not able to hear us.
I think so. So further queries, Mahima, if you can share my last slide.
Ma'am has come.
Okay.
There is something wrong with my connection, so it's breaking in between.
Oh, all right, ma'am. So thank you so much for sparing your time with us and enlightening us on this thought. I hope you were there in the session, and we would like to have a concluding remark from your side.
Yes. Okay. So thank you so much for this wonderful session, and also inviting me to join this session. And I understand that you are trained trainers, so the discussion as well as
network problem ma'am is facing.
She has network. So anyways, guys, everybody is there. Thank you so much for being listening to me so patiently. And nothing much I expect, but one thing which you like about the session, or something which you think you can do for yourself. I just want a confirmation from your side what you are going to do. Whether you will be taking self-care as the priority, self-awareness you are missing out, you will set your boundaries, what you will be doing. Mahima, can we have a Facebook link here?
Yes, I've already shared. I'm again sharing the Facebook link. Request everybody to
reach to our Facebook page, and you can post your comments over there. I think Mathu sir is there.
Vinita ma'am has joined again.
Mathu sir? No. Vinita ma'am? I think she still has some connectivity issue.
Yes.
So, so what to do? Can we wind up the session?
Let me just, I've already shared once. I've shared the Facebook link. I'm again sharing. You can drop in your feedback over here in this link. It's a very long link. Just click on the hyperlink that's blue in color. And Vinita ma'am is having trouble, I believe, with the connectivity. We will connect with her and we'll hand over this. I'll share the soft copy and then we'll go with the hard copy submitted to the college.
Right. Sales team will be will be joining you.
Yeah.
Sure. Right. Thank you so much for being so patient here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, all of you.
Thank you. Do we leave or end?
I think it will end. LMA will end it. Or we can leave.
Okay.
So finally, Vinita Prakash is waiting room.
Ma'am is here. नहीं हो पाया. हमारा नेटवर्क बहुत गड़बड़ है ना. मतलब अभी तो it was with us for such a long time. I'm glad.
चलिए. So thank you for being patient and
I'll call up ma'am and I'll tell.
You inform her that we have winded up, and my contact details, everything has been shared on a screen. You may reach me. I'm a certified counselor. I've already said that I'm associated with Lucknow University, and any help required, I'm always available. Thank you so much.